Everything in your life looks perfect on paper, but inside, something doesn't feel quite right. You're successful, you've got the money, you've got career, business, family, recognition, titles, yet that internal pressure, that disconnect keeps building. That pull that you cannot name keeps tugging at you, and the emptiness just doesn't seem to vanish. So you try to ignore it. You try to fill it in with another relationships or another distraction or shopping or changing a job, but nothing just sticks anymore. Those conversations that you used to enjoy, they feel flat, and friendships, they begin to feel like work. The things that you used to love and get excited by just there. And maybe even asking yourself, like, what is wrong with me? Can you feel that? Does that resonate? So you chase the next thing, another holiday, another promotion, another relationship, another shopping bag, another pair of shoes, anything just to fill that void. But nothing external fills that gap anymore, at least not for long. And the more you chase it, somehow the emptier it begins to feel. And the mind starts to convince you it's actually supposed to feel this way, that you should just be happy with what you have, but you're not. So if this resonates, here's what I want you to know: that this isn't random, that nothing is wrong with you, nothing is broken within you, and you are not having a midlife crisis, unless, of course, you allow yourself to have one. What is happening is that you're starting to wake up, waking up to the truth of who you are. And that pressure, the pull, the emptiness, they are simply the calls. They are calls from the part of you that is buried underneath the expectations, the noise, the obligations, the constant need for approval and validation. And you can't reason your way through this. You can't logic your way through this, because this call comes from your body. It's like it's a nudge, it's a feeling, it's a pull that you cannot explain. And the longer you ignore it, the louder it becomes. That nudge grows into pressure, into tension, into frustration, into this chronic feeling of dissatisfaction, eventually leading to burnout, stress, and that feeling stuck. And you may think to yourself, if only I could change a job or my relationships or my circumstances or this and that, things will finally get better. But here's the truth: no external fix can fill this void. No title, no raise, no vacation, no relationship, nothing. Because what you are feeling isn't about the outside, it's about alignments, inner alignments. It's about reconnecting with a part of you that's been waiting underneath all that noise, the pressure, the need to be feel seen and approved of and validated. That is the real, authentic you. And how do I know this? Because this is me. Because a few years ago, I reached a point in my life where everything just stopped making sense. All the money and the title and this striving, achieving, the need to be understood, I chased it all, and I felt flat, empty. The things that used to make me feel happy, like conversations, social gathering, experiences, holidays, money, shopping, they actually started feeling exhausting. My six-figure career became a chore. I was doing it because I was supposed to, because I needed to make a living, not because it made me feel alive. And for such a long time, I tried to convince myself that I should be happy. I have everything. I have everything. So why am I not happy? But I wasn't. And it took me years to figure it out. I literally had to completely to start from scratch, and more than once, rebuilding myself piece by piece, bit by bit, after burnout, after breakdown, and at times wondering, have I gone completely bonkers mad? So I invested multiple five figures in mentors and coaches and guides and healers. I sold my house. I remortgaged my flat twice. I made big financial investments into trying to understand all of this. And it was messy. It was hard. it was dark, it was bloody expensive. But slowly over time, I began to see what has been buried underneath all the pressure, the expectations, the need for approval. My intuition became stronger as I started to trust it more. And more importantly, not just trusting, but acting in it, even when it felt illogical, irrational, or completely like crazy. And the more I started building this relationship with my intuition, with myself, the more everything else started changing around me naturally. People who no longer fit just drifted away without conflicts. And people who did fit, they showed up to support me. Every relationship I started creating felt deep, aligned, real. I became so clear on my purpose and my direction. I started saying no to what did not align with who I was becoming and where I was going. And the fears, the doubts, they still come up, but they no longer had a grip over me anymore. They started transforming into clarity, into direction, into sense of purpose, service, impact. So that disconnect you're feeling, the pressure, the pull, the emptiness, the void, it's not a mistake, it's not a flaw, and it's not something to fix. It's a signal, it's a guide. And its purpose is to help you to step into the version of you that you came here to be. It's here to help you to release the layers of conditioning, of expectations, of the patterns you've been living by, of this old survival emotions, to free yourself from obligations that might have served you in the past, but now they're just keeping you stuck, they're keeping you small. From relationships that drain you, from the roles and identities that are just not truly yours. And this is the transformation, or rather, this is the space where that transformation can actually begin, where you stop living someone else's version of your life and start reconnecting with the self that's been waiting, buried underneath the noise and pressures and expectations. So if you're feeling this is a gift, even though it may not feel like one. It's the signal that something in your life is ready to change, but only if you are willing to pay attention and actually do something about it. And you don't have to figure it out all at once. At least it doesn't happen overnight. So you need a lot of patience. It just starts small. And the first step is really simple, to start listening to yourself, but really listening, not rationalizing, not judging, not ignoring, just noticing the feeling, honoring what's coming up inside of you. So, what does this look like in practice? I'm going to give you 5 practical steps. If this is resonating, that will help you to navigate that void. First, you notice the pull. Start paying attention to moments when something feels off, when you feel restless or anxious or drained, what drains you, because that's your body's intelligence that's sending you signals. Don't ignore it. And you may want to have a journal for it, to write it down and sit with it and ask yourself, what is this showing me? What is the message in this? Number 2, this is so obvious, spend time alone. Don't be afraid to be by yourself without distractions, because social media, emails, obligations, other people's expectation, that noise, it just drowns your inner voice. So give yourself that space, 10, 15, 30 minutes a day, whatever you can carve out for this, just to reflect, just to be with yourself, with your thoughts, and notice what's going up here, notice what's going on in here. Notice the discomfort in your body, maybe tight jaw or the painful shoulders or like a rumbling stomach. And don't be discouraged if the thoughts are too loud, if they're too aggressive, too busy, too restless. It's normal. Just notice them, observe them, even if it feels uncomfortable. Notice the emotions that are stirring up in you, the tension, frustration, maybe anger, sadness. Learn to be with them, lean into them, because the more you allow yourself to be in their discomfort without running from it, the stronger the clarity becomes, the stronger your intuition becomes, the more you trust yourself, even when the world feels noisy and chaotic and confusing, the more capacity you build to hold attention. Number 3, question what is yours and what isn't yours. So ask yourself, which expectations, which roles, what have I been carrying that doesn't really belong to me? I mean, think about it. How many things in your life are driven by what others expect of you, what they think you're supposed to do, or what society tells you success should look like? Start noticing those shouldn'ts, what ifs, the commitments that you taken on because you felt obligated, the relationships that you maintain out of duty rather than choice, the projects, the tasks that don't feel like you and you're only doing them because you think you have to. And then start slowly releasing them, letting them go. It doesn't happen all at once because it can feel extremely overwhelming, but start with one thing, maybe letting go of one obligation, one expectation, saying just one no to something that doesn't feel right for you, that doesn't align with who you want to become and where you're going. Every time you say no to what doesn't belong to you, you create space. You create space for your yeses, spaces for clarity, for purpose, for energy that actually serves you. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes to trust your intuition and to start following path that is truly yours. Number four, listen, trust, and act. Your inner voice is always speaking to you, always. But the question is, are you listening to it, or are you rationalizing it away? Because sometimes it guides you towards something that feels completely not logical at first. Maybe it's the conversation that you've been avoiding and that nudge is getting stronger. Maybe it's a boundary that you need to set. Maybe it's a project or a job or relationship that no longer serves you. And I know how overwhelming it can feel, how scary and confusing, and that's normal. But the thing is to remember your intuition is smarter than your fear. It knows what you need to do, what is good for you before your mind does. So again, start small, take one action, no matter how tiny. Maybe again, it is saying no to one thing that drains you, or speaking your truth in one conversation, or creating like a small boundary just to protect your energy and your peace of mind. Every time you act on that inner voice, you build trust with yourself. You're proving to yourself that you can trust yourself, that you can hold the pressure, you can hold this attention, this intention, and act from that. And number five, reflect regularly. This doesn't have to be complicated, just a few minutes of journaling, maybe short meditation, or sitting quietly with your thoughts at the end of each day. The goal again here isn't to solve everything, and most definitely not to beat yourself up or feel guilty about anything. It's just to notice your patterns, your choices, your reactions, see where you're making choices that feel aligned or where you are getting pulled off track. The key here is consistency. This isn't just like a one time fix or a quick hack, it's a daily practice. It's a commitment to building relationship with yourself and nurturing it each and every day, because the way your relationship with yourself sets the tone for relationship with everyone in your life. So make yourself a priority, not selfishly, but intentionally, so you can show up fully in your energy and your power for yourself and for people around you. And you will see that as you start building that connection with yourself, things around you will begin to change. The relationships that used to drain you, they shift, or relationships that are not right for you, your work, your focus, your energy, it begins to feel easier, more natural, more aligned with the real you. And this, guys, is self leadership. This is freedom. This is peace. And it all begins with one simple choice: noticing that pull, that call, that tug inside of you, and deciding to follow it, not waiting for the perfect moment, not waiting until everything is safe and ready, because it will never be, but just taking one step forward each and every day, saying yes to your clarity, to your intuition, and to your growth. And a lot of people, they try to do it by themselves, and it's hard. In fact, I don't actually think anybody can or should this journey by themselves. I certainly didn't, and I still not. I always have a community or a mentor or a coach. So find someone who's walked this path or is walking it right now. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a coach, maybe it's a mentor, someone who gets you, who sees you, who believes in you, even if you don't yet fully believe in yourself. Of course, I'm also here for you if that feels right. But the key is this: don't go through this alone. Your partner, your friends, your family, they may not get you. So find somebody who does. Somebody having somebody to guide you, to challenge your thoughts, to challenge your old beliefs, to call you out on your BS, to hold your space makes all the difference in the world. So if you're feeling this disconnect, I hope this resonates and gives you some sort of relief and a peace of mind. And of course, if you want to connect with me, you're welcome to reach out to me on LinkedIn or send me an email, and I will leave my details below.